So we also did HLOOKUP, and I expected that you also practice this part of it. So we did, we explained what the demerit of VLOOKUP is, that it cannot look towards the left of the table, and it breaks whenever you insert a table. So we also see some of the merits or the benefit of index and match. So the two demerits of that of VLOOKUP is what are the benefits. The opposite of it is what we see as the benefit of index and match. Index and match will not break if you insert a column, and it can look towards the left of the table. So we try to explain what okay, sorry. So we try to explain what index is, and we try to use index, and we say index is used to do what? And we remember, can anybody remember what index is used for?
I think
What will it return?
the demerits of VLOOKUP.
You said what?
To manage the demerits, the disadvantages of VLOOKUP. That means when it
Yes.
comes to row, rather than the way VLOOKUP focuses on columns.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
Index on its own, it help you to return the value. It returns the value. You supply the row number and the column number, and it gives you the value. So for example, if I want to use index to return this name, I want to return this name. So what I will do is I will say equals to index. I'll select the whole of the table. I put a comma. I'll say what index, what is the row number? This is in row 2, 1, 2. This is row 2. I will put 2 there. And I can also supply the column number if I selected more than one column. You understand? So if I click on enter, it's going to return the value in this location. Is that clear? You see that it has returned the value in row 2. What about if I extend this one beyond? If I extend this beyond, so if I extend it and I highlighted more than one column, then if I want to return this, I need to also specify the column that this information is present. So in this case, it's in column 2. Abi? In addition to the 2 I have, it's in row 2. Information I'm looking for is this, and it's in row 2, column 2. So if I click on enter, it's going to give me the same thing. But if I change this column to column 1, 2, 3, 4. If I change it to column 4, it's going to give me sales management and support. It's going to give me 5.2, 5.6 sales management and support. Is that clear?
Yeah.
It's very clear, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now that you see that I need the row number, and I have a function that can give me the row number. So this same information, I can as well say equals to match this number, this information from lookup array. This is my lookup array now. I put a comma, then I put 0, exact match, and click on enter. So immediately I click on enter, you see that it's giving me 2. What does it mean? It means that this information is present in row 2. That means the 2 I put here, I can get it dynamically. I can use match to get that 2 instead of putting 2 there, instead of writing 2 manually, so that I don't need to be counting rows and say, what row is this thing? I begin to supply the row number. I will now get something that will supply the row number for me. That's clear, right? What do I need in this? I need the table array. I need the row number. I need the column number. And column number is optional. It's not compulsory. It is when you select more than one table, more than one column, that you now need to specify the column number. But in this case now, this returns the value. I also have another function that can give me, that can use the value that I have to return the row number. Then by so doing, I can use this function to return the row number. That same row number will now be used in this function. You understand? Will now be using this function to give me the value. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So we did example. Remember we did example last week of example of match. That's one example I've done. Then we also, I also expect that you complete all of this, where you see how do match function work. All these boxes, please just complete and send to me. Because you master this thing by practicing. If you don't use these things, you might not be able to, you might not be able to master it. So it's best for you to always use them. So we did an example of index. I have done it again. Index and match combined. So let me explain this. I have here sorry, there's echo. Maybe you might need to mute one of your device. So you see that I have on this side, I have the classic favorite, and I have the price for top. And you see that the other time when I want to return the value, and this is the value I want to return. I want to look for this value in this table, and I want to return the value tall, the price for tall. So what I need to return this value is index. I supply the column index, which is this, and I supply what? The row number. But for me to supply the row number, I need a function that can give me the row number. Match will give me the row number. The row number will now be used with index to return the value. Is it clear? Okay. Let me, everybody is silent. What's happening? I didn't mean you practice this thing. You'll be the one like explaining this to me, because I expect that you just use this workbook. That's why I sent the workbook ahead. So let me do something else. So look at it. This function looks at what? This column. And this column is D. This column is D7, and this is D7. It checks through this column You understand? And it's going to return a number from this column. So the number is going to return from this column. It depends on the row number that I supply. So for me to supply the row number, I now need something to get the row number for me. But since I'm looking for this guy, I will use a match function to return the row where this guy is. So it's going to look for C15. C15. Look at C15. C15 is this. This is C15. You can see from here. C15. This is C15. So if we take C15, where is I also look at table array is C7 to C11. So I look through here. The C15 at value, where is it here? So the value, this value, where can I locate it in this table array? So when I have located it, when I get it, I want to get an exact match. So by so doing, it's going to give me the row number. So it's going to give me the row number. I say this is row 1, this is row 2, this is row 3, this is row 4. So indirectly, the whole of this will return 4 as the value because this is row number 4. So the function now will now become what? This, comma, row number. So this function will now use this row number and use it on this column and return the value. It also counts. I'm looking for value in row 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So when it gets to row 4, it returns this value because this is the value in row 4. Index will return value. Match will return the row number. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So let me clear all. Okay. Okay. All right. So that settles that for index and match. So sometimes you have so I expect that you use the same concept, use index and match to solve this. Use index and match to solve this. This is similar to what we use VLOOKUP to get the other time. So you use index and match to get this. I know after completing this exercise, you should be, you will not mix it up again. You will be proficient in using index and match. Even though if I wake you up around 1 a.m. in the midnight, that use index and match to get the value of something from a table, you will be able to use it. Please, I plead that you use this and give me the, just supply the answers to this. Using index and match. It's similar to what you use VLOOKUP to get the other time. This time we are using index and match to get it. The same thing, XLOOKUP. I don't know, it's only if you are using, I know that most of you are using Office 365. If you are using your office laptop, even though if you are not using your office laptop, if you are using a more recent, if you just got your system, and I believe that of course the recent Word should be installed on it. So you should have XLOOKUP. So let's do XLOOKUP. So with XLOOKUP, what I'm looking for is I'm going to type XLOOKUP. It's going to give me three arguments. The first one is lookup value. What am I looking for? This is my lookup value, right? So it's going to give me lookup array. Where am I looking for this information? That's the lookup array. In what array am I going to look for this information? So I'm going to come back to data sets, and I'm going to select this distributor ID. So that's my lookup array. So I'm going to select it. This is my lookup array. It's just because I did not name it. That is why I'm selecting. If I have named it, I don't need to select it. So I put a comma. Or let me just name them so that it's easier. So that you, okay. So let me name it. So what do I need? I need the name and I need the ID. So let me go and name. Let me give the name. Let me name the column for the name and the distributor ID. So I'm going to select this. Select that and give it distributor dist underscore name. Click on enter. So if I go to formulas and I go to manage name, I should have that. Can you see? That name is there. So I'm going to select the name as well. Oh, I think I have, that one should be distributor ID. So let me give you the right name. So let me go to manage name and edit this one. This is this ID. That's this ID. Then if I click on name, let me select name. This one, I'm going to give it what? I'm going to give it dist underscore name. Enter. Go to name manager. This name is here, this ID is here. So this is going to be easy for me. So when I come back to XLOOKUP, so when I come to XLOOKUP, what I will do is I'll say equals to X lookup. So I'll check the lookup value, put a comma, the lookup array. In what location is the array? The value that I'm looking for. The value I'm looking for.
That's distributor ID.
That distributor ID. So okay, this ID. I put a comma. The return array, what I want to return. Distributor name.
Distributor's name.
Yes, I click on enter. It gives me. This is straightforward. This was like index and match, but it's better. Instead of you doing index and begin to do match, you understand? It's index and match can be confusing. So what I would advise is that if you are using the latest version of Microsoft Office, you can forget about index and match and stick to XLOOKUP. But the knowledge is worth it, because sometimes you might be working on an old version that doesn't have XLOOKUP. So the knowledge is very important. So XLOOKUP came up, I think came into being in 2019 or thereabout, 2018. So it's very recent. No, 2019. 2019. So is it clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. Okay, so sometimes you want to combine if statement and VLOOKUP. So what is if statement? So let me first explain what if statement is. Okay. For example, if I want to check through this number, you understand? And I want to return here. Okay, let me put it here. If I want to return yes or no, if this number is greater than 5 or less than 5, I want to do a test. That's okay. I will do equals to, if logical test is that is this number greater than, because I'm going to put something here, greater than 5. So it will ask me again, what is, if I put a comma, it asks me, value if it is true. What will be the value to return if it is true? If it is true, what will it return? I want it to return a yes. And when you're typing your yes, please put this. So if it is false, what do I want it to return? I want it to return no. And click on enter. You can see that this is actually greater than 5. It is yes. This is yes. This is no. And up to here, you can see the ones that are no, they're actually less than 5. They're less than 5. So you know how to use if statement now, right? Another thing is, have you used if statement before?
No.
There's no one person answering me today. Oh. What's happening? Christina, unmute yourself now.
I'm here. I'm watching. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. But is if statement clear so that I know if to proceed
Yes,
to the
it
next?
is. It's just using it in a, the when you are doing connecting sheets, and it could be a bit confusing. Like you have like 1,000,001 sheets, and you're trying to if statement of one sheet into another sheet to get yes. That's when I get confused. But this simple one, it's okay. But I don't know if the assignment for the if it is a complicated one, then that will help in solving it or in getting to know it better.
So if you are making reference, you also make reference to another sheet. So it's not. So for example, if I want to test this against, if I want to test information on this sheet to another sheet, it's just clicking on the sheet. So for example, if I have another, okay, let me just open another sheet and say, I copy this name and I put that name in another sheet, for example. You understand? So I change this name to John. I change this name to Lisa. And I change this one to Adam. You understand? So, and I want to do a comparison. And I say equals to, if this name is equal to, come back to this sheet, this name, put a comma, you understand? Then put this and say yes. You can see what is typing on top. Then, if not, you put no. Click on enter. That's yes, right? You see that the ones I change is no. So if you're looking across the sheet, you just click on the sheet and move on to compare things.
So I don't get though.
Okay. There are names here. You understand? There are names here. I want to find out if the first name here is equals to the first name here, right?
Okay.
So I will test that is this one equals to, is information I have in A4, this is A4, is it equals to what I have in section 4 VLOOKUP this? So is what is the information here equals to the information here? If it is true, it will give you yes, right?
Yes.
If it is false, it will tell you no. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I came back here, I changed this name. I copied the same name here. I changed this one to John, changed this one to Lisa, changed this one to Adam. You see that there's a change on this table now. So I'm now comparing the information I have on this sheet with what I have on the other side where I copied it from. So at every point where this information is the same as the information on that sheet, on the same location, you understand? Because I'm comparing this sheet to the other sheet, it gives me yes. At the point where it is no, where it doesn't tally, it's going to give me no. Is it clear now?
Yes.
Okay. So this is across different sheets. Sorry, Christina, you asked that question. Is it clear now?
Yes, it's clear. I will try it out on my own. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
So I would rather say it's clear now. Until when you try something, it's not. I'll try
Okay.
it. If I have issues, I'll reach out, but it's clear. Thank you.
Okay. So now we want to now use, I told you the other time that when you are using VLOOKUP, you have an exact match and you have an approximate match. So approximate match is that something close to it. So you have two sets of commission. You have commission for people, for rates that are less than, if it is less than 5 years tenure. If the amount sold, okay, let me start from this table. So on this table, you have sales rep, you have the years, you have the sales, then you have the commission rate to be applied on the sales. The commission rate to be applied on the sales. Then the commission will now be what? When you multiply the commission rate times the amount, the sales amount. But you want to know the commission rate to be applied. And the commission rate to be applied is dependent on the years. If the year is less than 5, these are the commission rates, and this is based on the amount sold. But if the year is 5 and above, 5 years and above, this based on the amount sold, this is the applied commission. Let me delete it. This is part of the table. So let me go over it again. These are amount sold. If it is, there are two conditions now. One, if it is less than 5 years, of course, any of these will apply. But if the amount sold is now 50,000, this is the rate that will be applied. So I will now want to pick the rate from either of these tables based on either the guy is 5 years or whether the years is less than or greater than 5, or the sales amount is, or based on the amount, the sales amount. So what do I need to do? I need to use an if statement to return. Now in my VLOOKUP, I will get the lookup value. I will get the column index, or rather before the column index, the table array. But in this case now, I'm not looking for information from one table. I'm looking for information from two tables. But I need an if statement to determine the table to use. So look at this function. Let me just, if what is here, CCs, is greater or less than 5 years, if this year is less than 5 years, it's going to use this table array. It's going to use this table. Oh. But if it is greater than 5 years, it's going to use this table as the table array. Is it clear? And the column index in both cases is column 2. The column index in both cases is column 2. So the column, this is column 1, this is column 2, this is column 1, this is column 2. So the thing is, look for, I'm saying VLOOKUP, look for D6 sorry. So I'm looking for this. So where is this? So I say, look for this. This is D6. So I'm looking for this value either in this table or in this table. Either in this table or in this table. Okay. So now this is column 1. This is column 2. This is column 1. This is column 2. So now I look for this value, this value, this 6. This is the value. Then I need to get what? I need to get this value. I need to get where is it located. So that means I need a table array, and this is going to be for my table array. The if statement is going to be for my table array, right? So going to return my table array. But for it to return the table array, will now be dependent on the year. I now use an if statement. If C, where is C? 6. This is 6. Sorry, let me use another line so that so if this is my system, is greater if it is less than 5 years. So in this case, it is less than 5 years, point to this table. So if it's less than 5 years, you should use this table. Right? So it's going to use this table. But otherwise, if it is less than 5 years, it is going to use this table. So what it means is that this is going to use this table. When I go to another value, if I come here and I get to this value, this one is greater. I mean, if this is less than 5 years, you should use this one. Oh, sorry, this is not going to use it because it's less than. I mean, it's greater than. If this is greater than 5 years, you should use this. So this is going to use that one. So this is going to use this table. I'm going to use this table because the year here is actually greater than 5 years. So it's going to use this table. But in this case that it is less than 5 years, here is less than 5 years, it's going to come to this table and use this table. When it gets here, it's going to use this table for this one. When it gets here, it's going to use this table. When it gets here, it's going to use this table. When it gets here, it's going to use this table. When it gets here, it's going to use this table. This table that is less than 5. When it gets here, it's going to use this table for greater than 5 years. So it's going to use the table array will change, but at every point, it's going to be pointing to what? The column index 2. Column index 2.
John, sorry, can I chime in?
Can you?
Can I chime in? Can I speak? Is it okay?
Yes, it's okay.
Thank you so much. So I don't want to take us back. Thank you for the explanation, but I might have to take us back. Firstly, my own clarification is the formula. If we can go over the formula again, that would be great. I understand that we are trying to decipher if the commission rate is, please correct me, if it's less than 5 years or for more than 5 years, right? That's basically to
Yes.
target what I'm trying to understand what's it called? The question being answered or the query, yeah. So I guess it's for less than 5 years to decipher which is less than 5 years and which is more than 5 years. So am I right? You can
So
correct.
you want to determine the commission rate based on the year. You understand? So commission rate for this, for tenure, for the tenure that is greater than 5 years, is different from the one that is less than 5 years. Is that clear?
Yes.
So indirectly, meaning that the commission rate for this, what table are you going to be looking at?
That's more than 5 years.
Yes. So when you're going to apply the commission rate for this, what table are you going to be using?
More than 5 years.
More than 5 years. So this one, when it comes to this one, what
Less
table
than
are you
5
going to?
years.
So it's going to be pointing to this table. So when it comes here, so what table are you going to be looking at?
For 5, it will be
Coming here.
5 plus
It should be
5 plus.
5 plus. 5 plus.
So when you get to this other table, the next one is 10, are we? The tenor is 10.
Yeah, it will be 5
You're
plus.
going to be looking at this table.
Yeah.
So when you get here, of course, you're going to come back to this other table.
Yeah.
So when it gets here, you're going to come back to the other table. So this, you're going to be looking at this table. That's clear, right?
Pretty
Okay.
clear, very clear.
So apart from using this as the condition of the table to look at, we're also going to be looking at the sales amount. The sales amount also determines, you're not using the year, you're also using the sales amount to determine the applicable. Even in this year, if the sales amount is less than, if the sales amount is 5,000, you understand? You're going to use this. For example, in this case now, what the sales amount? The sales amount is 100,000. Yes?
Yeah.
What the sales amount is 100,000, right?
Yes, 100,000.
And the year is what? And the year is what? Less than 5 years.
Less than
So
5 years.
indirectly, yes, it's speaking this as the applicable rate because this is the sales amount. Because the sales amount corresponds to the sales amount.
Yes.
So take this other one, for example. The sales amount is 106, but it's the same rate. Even when it is 106, it's taking the rate of 100. The reason being that I am using approximate match, not exact match. I'm looking at this and say, okay, anything that is close to what the sales value is here, That is why you have that true. If you look at it, you look at the formula, you see true at the end of it. Because normally we use false, right?
Yeah, which is 0. Well, now
Which
it's
is
a
0.
approximate match.
It's approximate match. So what that is saying is that the 100,000 106 here is approximately equals to this. That means it's closer to this among any other information on this table. 106 is closer to this. So if I come to 1, when the sales value is 1, I mean when the year is 1, which is going to fall under this table. But this time, the sales amount is 10,000. So what is close to 10,000? Okay, I even have 10,000 here. So it's going to pick 3% as the rate. Is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay,
It's clear.
let's try the formula again.
If you just run me through the formula,
Let me-
yes.
let me-
I'm trying to understand.
Let me,
Yes.
what I will do is I will clear this. So we're going to do that. Sorry.
Maybe you can just
Let me-
create a column beside the commission. I just run out through the formula. Okay, it's fine. Whatever works.
No, let me just delete this. So what I will do is to say, 1, I'm doing VLOOKUP equals to VLOOKUP. So what value am I looking for? What value am I looking for? I need to specify the value I'm looking for.
The sales money.
Yes, I'm looking for the sales. Put a comma. Now, I need to specify the table array. By the table array now, I need to use an if statement to get the table because the table differ. Based on the sales amount, I can use this table, I can use this table. So I now use, and I now need to use a logic statement, which is if statement. The if 1, I want to test if the year is less than, if it is less than 5.
More than 5 or okay.
Yeah, if it is less than 5. So if it is less than 5, value if it is true. So if it is less than 5, what table array should I use?
The first one.
Okay, which is this. So let me make it absolute so that this will not change. It will not. So I'm going to be F4. F4. So that's the value if it is true. Then what is the value? If it is false, that means it is greater than 5.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Yeah. Because if it is true, it is less than 5. If it is false, it's greater than 5. Then if it is false, then I'll be considering this table.
So are you not going to rewrite the 6 more than greater than 5?
No, you don't need to rewrite it.
That's where I got confused.
Yeah, you don't need to rewrite it because you are testing only 2 things. It is either greater than. So the value if it is true is this. So if this is false, that means if it is false, that means is what? That means is 5. Because if it is less than 5, then anything that is false in this case will be 5 or greater than 5. That's clear, right? So this is the test. Okay, let me do this so that you see. I think this is, so sometimes if you want to know this better, you just click on effect. You see this function? Oh, wow. All I've done.
Sorry.
Kind of.
Maybe can you undo?
No, I can just type it again. Pause to VLOOKUP. So I'm looking for this. Then I'm using if statement to get the test now is to check if this is less than 5. So if it is less than 5, You say value if true. So what value should it return if it's true? It's going to return, because the value I'm looking for is actually the table array. So if it is true, it's going to return this table array. Comma. Then if it is false, value is false. If it is false, it's going to return this table array as my table array. Then I'm going to close that. So by closing that, I'm done with what will return the table array for me. I put a comma. So it's asking me for the column index. In the two table array, the column I'm looking for is actually the rate, right? Which is in column 2. 1, 2. In this case also, it is 1, 2. So the rate is always on column 2 in both cases. So I put 2, I put a comma. So now it's asking me for, is it an exact match or an approximate match? So I need an approximate match. Yes, so I click on this. So I just click on enter. I'll just close the bracket so that you feel all righteousness. I'll close the bracket, then meaning that if I do drop down, it's going to populate all of this. And let's begin to test. So what do I have here as the field? 475. What is the, so 475, what is the year? For the year, I know that I'm going to be coming to this table. From the sales amount, I need to get exactly what I want.
Sorry, we
From
can't
the
hear
sales
you.
amount, you can't hear me?
Yeah, it's
What
better
about now?
now. Yes, it's way better.
Oh, sorry,
Thank
maybe
you.
I bent, yeah, I bent my head. So now, if you look at it, 6 years, and if you look at also this one, so indirectly it's telling me that I'm going to use this as the rate. But another thing I want to point out is, me, ordinarily, I'll be expecting this to pick this, because this value is actually closer to 500 than 300. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I would
actually
have picked them. I would have picked 10%, but
eh?
I would have thought it was closer to 10% than 9.25%.
Yes, 9.25. Ordinarily, that's what I also think. So let me check another one. So this one, okay, this one pick this. So let me look at this one. 600 and greater than this. And this one pick 10%.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
the
if
highest
you
value.
round down, let me just assume that everything that is higher before the next one is usually rounded down. Is round down instead of rounding up. So this one is round down to 300 instead of rounding up to 500, because it's actually closer to 500. And because this is not, it is based on, it is inbuilt, the decision is not left, this is not determined by you. It's determined by what is being programmed into the system. So meaning that most of these things is round down to the smallest number, not rounding up to the highest number. So I think this is clear, and this is actually not what we are going to do today. It has taken our time. Fine. I'm going to send you a file quickly so that we go into what we have today. Today we're looking at Power BI, Power Query, Power Pivot, and what's the third one? So we're going to be looking at pivot table, Power Pivot, and Power Query. So let me. Hope you have access to your Telegram. I'm going to send you something on Telegram now.
Can you
Oh,
send it on
sorry,
WhatsApp?
not WhatsApp.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay. I know that you fall in love with Telegram. Very sure of that. Okay, so let me just get that out for you. Okay. Yes. Okay, let me see. Okay. Okay, so have you gotten it? Or let me even ask, are you practicing along or you want to use the recording to listen? Okay, let's share my screen. Okay, so you can see my screen, right? Let's start from the code. So this in Power Query, or what you are doing, you are extracting information, you are transforming the information, and you are loading it into the data engine of Power BI, of Excel. So why do you need to do all of that? Why do you need to do all of that? Because of the limitation of Excel. So if what is the limitation of Excel? The limitation of Excel is that Excel can take only. So if I click on this, I say. So if you say Control End, you can see that this is the maximum number of rows that Excel can take. So what do you have there? Just a million, a little above 1 million. Just 1 second. So you can see that this is just a little above 1 million, just slightly above 1 million. What happened to a bank, for example, that has transaction running into billions, or have transaction that is up to 10 million, 20 million? If you want to put their file in an Excel format, it becomes difficult. And how do you now make Excel to work with large files? So for you to make Excel work with large files, there's something we call the Power Query that you can use Excel to connect to those sources. And that data will be spooled automatically into Excel. But instead of populating it on the Excel workbook, Excel sheet, so it's going to populate it in the data model. It's going to add it to the data model. So you're going to add it here. So it's going to add it here to the data model of Excel, which is this. So it's going to add it to this data model. So this is Excel data model. Is it clear? So how do you make all of this happen? So how do you make it happen? So first, if you come here, let me go back to, so if you look at this data is good, clean, and I want to quickly use, okay, do I do pivot table? Have you ever used pivot table before? Let me ask that. Have you used pivot table before. Hello?
I've not.
Okay. So if I have a very large data set, so what I would do is to use Excel to connect to that data source. So once I'm connected to that data source, I can now begin to spool information from that data source. But you see this data, it is not in a summarized form. It's not in a summarized form. So for me to summarize this data, I need to use what we call the pivot table. So for example, you can see college. So you can see college, you can see college, you can see college as well. So if I want to see the monthly salary, cumulative monthly salary of everybody that attended college, how do I go about it? Do I now begin to add, okay, this is college, I pick this one, I add it. So I can use pivot table to summarize my information. So pivot table is actually used to summarize information. Is that clear? So we use pivot table to do what? To summarize information. So let's just do some pivot table. So the first one here, the first question is saying, create a pivot table from the sample data showing the cumulative salary for each education level. So I need to get a pivot table that will show me each of the education level. This has been solved here, but I can delete. So we do that together. So I can delete this and say, okay, let me just delete the entire table. So you can delete. So I'm also going to insert insert rows there. So what do I need to do? I'll come to insert, you see pivot table. I'll come to pivot table. But before I do that, I need to get to this table. So while on this table, I'll just select anywhere inside the table. If I'm outside the table, it will not work. You go to select outside. But if I select anywhere inside the table and click on pivot table, you see that it has selected the entire range of the table, the edge of the table, till I get to the last item on the table. So what do I need? What location do I need to put the table? It's asking me for two things. Do I need a new location or do I need an existing worksheet? If I say new worksheet, what it will do is that it's going to open up a new worksheet entirely and put my solution there. But in this case, I want an existing worksheet because I want the solution to be placed here. So I want the solution to be here. So I click on this and click on enter and click on OK. Then I click on OK, you can see that it brought out this pivot table dialog box. This pivot table dialog box. And it also brought out the fields, the different fields I have. So in these fields, these are the columns that I have in my data set. And notice, for you to bring anything to the column, this is column. This is the column. This is the row. If you want anything to appear here in your summarized table, you bring it to where? To the row. If you want everything to appear on top, if you want it to appear on top as a column, what will you do? You bring it to the column. Any numerical field here, any numerical field, anything that contains number, for example, the age, the salary, every of those ones, they automatically come to value. You take them to value, because under value, you cannot do summation, you can do products, you can do average, you can do all of those numerical computation on it. Then you can also, if you want to use some things to filter, so you want to get people who are male or female, you can add gender to this. Anything you want to use to filter your table, you add it to this. You can also filter based on the age. You want to get people who are above a particular age, people who are above or below a particular age. We can also use total working period to sort out, to filter. So anything that you want to use to filter, you bring them here. Then if you go down, you'll see there are other columns as well. So having this in mind, let me just do something. So if I bring age to column, what do you have? You see different age on column. So if I remove it, for it to remove, you just drag it away. So if I bring gender to column, you see the different gender on the column, male and female. That's on the column. If I bring that same gender to row, you see it on the row, male, female. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So if I bring in total working years to value, you see that it has summed up total working year for female, total working year for male. So if I bring in maybe education level to filter, so it's asking me that there is a data there. So let me bring job role to filter. So there's already data in 3able. Do you want to replace it? So I don't want to replace. So let me just cancel and clear up all this drawing. But with this drawing, it is clear enough. So let me just. So now, what is asking me to create a pivot table from sample data showing cumulative salary for each education level. So each education level, so I go to education level. So I'm going to uncheck this, So education level and cumulative monthly salary. So when you just click on this, you don't need to drag it. You can drag it, but once you click on it, they will go to the right place they are supposed to be. It's only if you don't want the default. So by default, when I click on salary, it goes into value because it is numerical. So by default, when I click on education level, it goes into row. So you have here for bachelor's, this is what you have. For below college, this is what you have. College, this is it. Doctor, this is it. Master's, this is it. There is another thing you can use to do the same thing. What is it? What function can you use to get this out from that table? What function can you use to get this out from the table? Any trial? Okay, so the function you can use is SUMIF. So you want to use SUMIF to get that.
Sorry, please, what was your question again?
So what function can you use to get the same thing? For example, now we've gotten the summation of the salary for monthly salary for those with bachelor's degree or those with below college, those ones with college education, the doctors and the master's degree. You know, we use pivot table to get the summarized table.
Yes,
I'm saying that there's a function in Excel that you can use to get the same thing. So the function is what I want to quickly put you through. because this is a summation of every bachelor's holder. This is a summation of every college degree holder. This is a summation of the salary for every doctor that you have there. Then what do I need to do now? I need to use a conditional statement that will say, that will do the summation of the salary based on the education level. So I'll say sum if. So there's a sum range, which is the monthly salary. There's the criteria range, and there's criteria range 1. So what's my criteria? For you to sum anything, the person must be either bachelor's degree, right? So and the sum range will be the column for the monthly salary. So what's my sum range? I'll come to this and select the entire monthly salary as my sum range, because everything I want to sum will come from the monthly salary. So I'm going to end it here. So that's sum range. I put a comma. So it's asking me criteria range. So what's the criteria range? So I need to use, so what's the criteria range? So the criteria range is what? Education level. So I'm going to
Educational.
yes. So I'm going to select the entire column for the criteria that I'm summing up. That is it. So that is it. So I put a comma. So it's asking me for the criteria. So what is the criteria for summing anything? So I'm going to come back to this and say criteria in this case is going to be bachelor. If the person is bachelor's degree, give me the summation. So do you have the same thing? You see the same figure, the same thing that you have. So if I drag it down, you see that I'm getting the same thing. Is it clear?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's just to like double check your figures, basically.
Yeah, to be sure it is correct what you have there. No, what the reason for using sum is not to check the figure.
We can't hear you. Your voice is really low now.
Okay, is an alternative, you understand? So it's an alternative route to get to the same location, to get the same value.
Oh, okay.
So I can use pivot table to get this summarized information. I can as well use sum if to get the same. So you can use sum if, you can use average if you are looking, if this is average, I can also use average if to get the same thing. You understand? So I'm still going to discuss the different kind of functions that is sum if, average if, count if, and all those other functions. We're still going to treat that them one after the other. So we've answered the first question. The second question is, who is the highest paid employee? Who is the highest paid employee? So who is the highest paid employee? So let me delete this and probably insert. So for me to get the highest paid employee, so what would you do ordinarily? You will come to your table. You will do what? You will filter largest to smallest. Is that not what you will do? So indirectly, you will know that this guy is paid employee. employee with ID 259 is the highest paid employee. So if I don't want to go to the route of filtering, what do I need to do? What can I do to get that? I can get the list of all employees, or just use a max if function. So I can say equals to max max if. Okay. So or another option is to okay, let me
repeat the first option.
Hmm?
Can you repeat the first option of how you got to
No,
his highest paid?
I've not concluded. I'm just thinking that there's a better way. But of course, if I didn't conclude the first option I wanted to introduce. So the first option is actually to use a max if. So max
It's not
will
that
give me.
one.
You said what?
The first time you got the answer for who is the highest paid employee.
Oh, what I did was to just go to the table.
Alternative.
Yes, I went to the table. Then I filter from sort from largest to smallest. So I just did sort from largest to smallest, and it's going to arrange it from the highest paid to the lowest paid person in the company. That's fine, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the next one is we want to get, okay, the next option is to use a max if. Or let's just use the max, because the max function will give us that. So I can just say max of salary. Salary, let me see. Monthly salary. That has been named. The column was named monthly salary. So if I do, okay, let me be sure it is, or let me give it monthly salary. Let me name it monthly salary. So I'm just going to select the entire table, or just come to formula, go to manage name, and see what would be the name of that table. Employee ID, monthly salary have no reference. So there's no reference here. So for me to correct that, I can just come here and give that a reference. That will also work. So I say monthly salary should refer to this. So, okay, click on OK. You can see there's a reference to monthly salary now. So if I close this and come back to my pivot table, I have a value. So the max from monthly salary is this.
So basically, what removed the error sign is you renaming the column, right? Am I right, please?
Yes, no, yes, giving the column a name, because when I got here and I go to name, I saw that the name of that column was not referring, because any column that you give a name here must have a reference. But you can see that this is giving ref. Meaning that maybe something has happened, maybe there's a movement, maybe I've moved the table at a point and that's not working. So that's why that name is no
So
longer
for example,
functional.
gender is ref. So that means it has not been named.
It has been named gender, maybe because of movements. Maybe I have moved the table. Maybe while rearranging this sheet,
But
the
I see
table.
this a lot when I'm working. That's why.
You know what? You see
I
ref.
see this ref a lot and it's error sign
Yes.
for me. That's what it means to me. To me,
Yes.
oh.
You see, it is error, but it is something you can correct. It's showing that where you are referring to, where this agenda is pointing to, does not exist anymore. That is what it's saying. So you need to redirect this to the right location. So for me to do that, I'll just click on gender and come back to where gender is. Maybe this. And click on enter. So you can see it's pointed to table 46.
Yeah.
So
Okay, I get it. Thank you.
all right. And you see table 46 is actually HR data, the entire table. So with that, we've gotten what the maximum salary is. Then find out the top 5 employee by monthly salary. Top 5 employee by monthly salary. So you can use this to also get the top 5 employee by monthly salary. So how do you go about that? So let me delete this. And
We use the Maxif this time around since it's top 5. Since it's a varying like a range of numbers.
yes, we need we are going to use top n in pivot table. That's what we're going to use. Because if you use max, it's going to return only one number. Because now we are talking about a range of number, like top 5. So I'm going to come here and say, what is it again? Okay, come to this table, come to insert pivot table. Then it has selected the entire table. So I'm also going to pick an existing worksheet. And this time I'm coming here to pick this location and click on this. Okay, and click on OK. So I need to find out the top 5 employee by monthly salary. So I need to get employee ID. So I get employee ID. So it's putting employee ID here, but I'm going to put it here and it will throw me error. Why? Because the number of employee ID I have is plenty. And because of that, it's going to override what I have under here. You see that I have an information here. It's going to override this. So let's create this in a different, let's just create it somewhere else and bring the result. We can bring in the result here. So when I'm here and say insert pivot table, when I come to insert pivot table, instead of creating it in an existing worksheet, I'll just create it in a new worksheet. So I click on OK. So with that, I'll bring in my employee ID, bring it back to this. You can see that there are plenty. Meaning that if I bring it here the other time, if I bring it here, it's going to override what I have on the next
Sorry, did you
page.
quickly copy it or what? How did you get the number? Sorry, can you quickly go back? Did you copy or what? I missed that quick connection.
Which one? I didn't copy. You mean this employee ID, right?
Yes, this employee ID. How you connected it from the other sheet? Did you copy? Did you just copy and paste? I don't know what you did.
Let me repeat that step.
Thank you so much.
So while you're on this table, for you to insert pivot table, what will you do? You go to insert and you click on pivot table.
Yeah.
You know, before now, we've been using the existing connection, existing sheet, and we'll go to a particular place and locate where you want the pivot table to reside.
Yeah.
But now I want it to automatically open a new sheet and bring in the pivot table in a new sheet. So I click on OK. So it automatically open a new sheet that has been named sheet 2. And while I'm here, I just click on employee ID, maybe bring it to row. So once I bring it to row, it's going to give me all the employee ID that is present in my table.
Okay, good.
That is one. I also need the monthly salary. So for
Just
each employee ID, it's going to give me the monthly salary. But I need the top 5. I need to now get the top 5. So what do I need to get the top 5? If I right click on this, you see option. Or let me just, you see filter value. So when you, under the row label, click on filter value. So filter value, click on top N. Hold on, let me just check. Label value between this. Okay, top N. So I need top 5. I just put 5 instead of 10. Top 5 items. Top 5 items. By what now? Is it by the sum of salary, or of course it's going to be by the sum of salary? So I say okay. So you see, that's giving me the top 5. Top 5 employee ID or top 5 employee. Is it clear?
yes, from my end.
Okay.
Juliet, you didn't ask Juliet. Juliet,
Juliet. Hello, Juliet.
Juliet, are you there?
Hello, Juliet. Are you there? Oh. Okay, so we've been able to get the so we can easily now copy this and return it back to.
So my question is, when you went to when you went to
yes.
filter, when you were filter, did you fill from highest to largest to smallest, or what's that thing? That was what you did on that sheet. On
Yeah.
that row labels. When you click on the drop down list, or drop down menu.
No. You see filter value. So you have all of these options available. You can say the one that is equal to, but this is what I pick, top 10.
Top 10. Oh, okay. So you
So
just
maybe
edit
you click on top 10,
5.
you edit it to 5, yes.
Okay, I get.
So you can as well answer other questions. Who is the top earning employee with master's degree?
So we just do the same. We go to the sheet, the main sheet, the HR data sheet, or we can use the column here and filter beside it. The one on my right. I don't know.
Who is the top earning employee with a master's degree, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Is
so
it that we do max number? That will be easier and faster, since it's just
okay.
one
Let's
figure.
use this one to finish that. So we want
Okay.
the top with the master's degree. So what do we need? That means I need to clear this filter, right? So let
Yeah.
me clear this filter, clear the filter. So I need to bring in something to the filter, education to filter.
Educational criteria. Yeah.
Yes. So under the education level, I need to select multiple education. I will uncheck and select only masters and click on OK.
How did you get it on top? So I thought you were we get it from the other side, from those lists. How did you get it on top of this place?
Whenever you bring anything to filter, it comes on top.
Oh yeah, okay. Fine. Thank you.
So now I come here, I selected everything. Of course, I uncheck
Yeah.
everything and click on only masters. So
Mhm.
it will filter out every other one except the guys with master's degree. So I now see that, okay, these are the guys with master's degree. Out of these guys with the master's degree, who are the, so the question is asking me that, who is the top any employee with a master's degree?
So the salary.
So with this, I can just solve.
We have to filter the salary.
Yeah?
We have to filter the salary, I think.
Yes, we can just sort it from largest to smallest.
Smallest, okay.
Or filter value. Top. This time you can just say one because we are looking for one employee.
Yeah.
From among all the ones that have a master's degree. So this is the guy. So do I leave you to answer the rest questions? If you have, let me leave you to answer the rest.
Okay. You mean as an assignment or now?
Yes, as an assignment.
Okay, that's fine.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we've been looking for
Yes.
you, Juliet.
I
We've missed
don't know what
you.
happened though. I don't know. It seems it's network. I was trying to say something all along, but
Okay.
the first one, the top 5 employees, I didn't really get how you did it because I missed it somewhere. When you open that last pivot table, I
Mhm.
think that was where I missed it. When you open, yes, when you open the pivot table for as a new fresh on a new fresh sheet.
Yes, when I opened it on
Yeah.
a new fresh sheet. So the
Yes.
first thing I did was to, this is what we used that to solve. We got the top 5 employee. So what we did was so we got the employee ID that will give us all employee. So we also need their monthly salary. We bring in the monthly salary to value. Now, the question is, who are the top 5 employee with the highest monthly salary? So we come here and go to filter value or value filter, come to top N or top 10 filter. Then you reduce this to top 5 because we are looking at the top 5 employee. By what? By sum of monthly salary.
Did you right click to get this box? Because after you've dragged the monthly salary
Click on this
part,
drop down. Click on this drop
drop
down.
down. Okay, okay.
When you click on this drop down, you see value filter,
Okay.
you see top N or top 10.
Top
So you
10.
change this to 5 and click on OK.
Okay, okay, I get it now.
So that's giving you the top 5 by the monthly salary.
Okay, but my next question is why drag the monthly salary to value? Why not column? Or you just decide anyone?
No, that was the first explanation I made, that anything that is numerical, you take it to value because salary is numerical. This is the row. I mean, the employee ID is numerical, but it doesn't make sense. If I add this employee ID to this employee, does it make any logical sense? Because ID is just a unique identifier,
Number.
and because it's just number, it doesn't make sense. So, but you can add people's salary together. You can say Mr. A and Mr. B salary, the addition makes so amount. So
Okay,
anything that
which
is
one?
numerical, we bring it to value. Anything that is categorical, we bring it to either row or column. So for example, now for these guys now, if I want to know the number, the people out of these guys here, who are the ones that are male or female based on gender, I can bring gender to column. You can see gender, it has brought gender to the column. The first column is for male, the second column is for female. See, out of the 5 people, only 2 of them are male. The remaining 3, they are female.
Okay. So what's filter for?
So filter is for, we just did an example of that. So the next question that we ask is that among, so that is here, who is the top any employee with a master's degree? Top any employee with a master's degree. So let me get, we have employee ID, right?
Yeah.
So this employee ID, the education level varies. The education level can be anything. So I can bring education level to filter and retain only. Immediately I bring it to filter, you can see that it's showing on top.
Yes.
So if I bring it to filter, it's showing on top. So now I have different education level. So I can just unselect and select only master's degree and click on OK. So it has sieved out all the ones that doesn't have master's degree. So I left only the ones with master's degree. So I'm going to also bring in monthly salary to value to give me the monthly salary of these guys. So after that, I need to select this drop down and ask for the value and top N. This time I'm going to say top 1 because I'm picking the highest out of all of these people with master's degree. So this employee with this ID is the one with the high, is the employee with master's degree and with the highest monthly salary.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yes, we say clear.
Okay, so we now concluded that you can just try out the other ones. So try out the 5th one and the 6th.
All right.
Okay. So now you can see that sometimes when you want to bring information from different tables, so this is sales table. This sales table. There are other things we can do on that pivot, really. So if I'm able to quickly round up this, we can go into other things we can do with pivot table. But I want us to quickly generate or just lay this foundation. So if I have sales table and I have region table, so each of those sales, they happen in a particular region. But in my sales table, I don't have the column for region, but I have the column for state somewhere. So I have this column for state acronym. So I have state code. You can see state code here. You can also see in my sales table, you can see state code. That means I can use lookup to get the information for the region where these states are and bring it to my sales table. So I can use index and match to get that value. I can use VLOOKUP to get the same value. I can use XLOOKUP to get the same value. So that on this sales table, I can now have a column for the region. But what about if I have so many information scattered around across different tables. What is the best approach? The best approach is actually to create a relationship between them. Is to create a relationship between this table. So what I'm saying in essence is that, oh, you, this table, stay where you are. This table, stay here. Even when you contain state code and region, and the other sales table, guy, stay where you are. So all I need to do is to just create a relationship between the two tables. So what I'm saying is that for every one table here, for every state here, I can have many occurrences of it in the sales table. Because why? Why is that possible? Because two people can come from the same state, but of course here, it will be identified that all of them are from this singular state. But they can do different purchases. So they can do different purchases, which will come in as different transactions under my sales table. So we have something we call cardinality. So in essence, the cardinality for this is one to many, meaning that one state here is corresponding to many states in my sales table. Because the record for individual, even when they came from the same state, will be different because they have different purchase order or be order ID. So it doesn't now make sense for me to now begin to use VLOOKUP and all the likes to pull information at every point from one data, from one table to the other. So the best approach is actually to create relationship between the tables and let the table reside where they are. So in order to do that, I've put up an example here. So for example, I have transaction. Under transaction table, I have product code, I have state code, I have distributor name, I have products, I have sales channels. I have product. Under product, I have product code as well. I have product code here. There's a relationship already. So that means there's something that you can use to relate. Under category, you also have category code. Under product, you have category code. So for state, you also have state code. Under transaction, you should have something like state code as well. You can see a bit of relationship there. So let's go to the exercise. The exercise is this. So I'm going to read out the background information. You'll be hired by an expanding company that manufactures clothing. The company has been around a long time and has operated under the strong gut feeling of the founder. However, the founder's daughter is taking a larger role in business. She has been combining her father's strong gut market feel with analytical analysis to drive a boom in sales. This sales growth has strained the business infrastructure and many of the supporting processes. You have been hired to help the company continue to enhance their analytical decision making. To help solidify the data architecture of the business, you want to understand the relationship that exists with company's data environment. Then establish the relationship using Power Pivot so you can leverage data to deliver new analytical insights. So now we have different tables. We have 4 tables. The first table is transaction table. Transaction table contains all of these columns. So the second table is the product column. So the category table and the state code. So with this in mind, we're going to quickly go to the next table. Here, I want you to identify what are the primary key and what is it, because we need to use this as a basis for relationship. So let me clear what is here. So meaning that On the transaction table, this is transaction table. What is the primary key under the transaction table? Are we all there?
Yes.
Okay, so what I mean by primary key here now, for every transaction, there will be probably a distributor code, a distributor ID. So I can say this is distributor ID, the primary key. So distributor ID is one. What other thing? I have product code. Product code. So product code, relationship to other table. Is there any relationship between this product code and other table? So this is also related. You can see from here. You can see product code is related to product code.
I'm sorry,
So there is a
Mr.
relationship.
Jones.
Yeah.
This one is no longer empty. No. I don't know if we can move this particular class. I'm trying to
I need to.
grasp what you're saying, but
I will not.
that
We have short
it's not
time.
thinking in.
Yeah, I need
Okay.
to. I need to just explain this because this we are not going into detail, but I need to explain this background. When we come back in the next class, we'll then continue from there. We have like 7 minutes.
Okay.
So there's a relationship between these two. You can also see category code, and there's category code here. That means I can relate this table and this table. There's state code here, and there's state code here. That means I can relate this and this. So in filling this table now, I have my transaction table relating to what? My product table. Product table. For the product table, the primary key there is probably going to be product code, and it is related to, and also not only product code, I also have category code. Category code is there. So it is related to both the transaction, because this product code is related to transaction table, and
category.
yes, and category table. Okay. So for category, what I have there is the category code, and that category code is related to what? The product table. Because category, yes, it's related to relation to other table. It's related to product table. Or we can just say related to the products or the category code. Category code here, relation to other table. Yes, product table, that's fine. State code. Primary key here is state code. And that state code is related to what? What table?
Transaction and states.
Transaction table.
And state table.
And you know we are talking about state table already. We said state table.
Okay. Yeah,
The primary key, yeah, the primary key inside state table. State table is state code and is related to what? Transaction table. I think that is clear. Thank God you even contributed, meaning that you understand it. So how do I bring all of this table into the data model? So for me to do that, what I will do is, since I have this table, I have 4 minutes. So since I have transaction table, it's formatted as a table. I have, sorry, I have products, I have category, and I have states. So what I would do is to just come here and go to insert and say, no, go to data rather, and get data from table. You can get data from so many places. You can get data from all of these sources except from PDF. So if you have a PDF file, you can get data from folder. You can get data from different sources here. So you can get data from the web. It's also possible. But in this case now, I want to get from a table. So I click on this. I need to specify what the table is, but I need to go, let me put my cursor inside the table and click on this, get from a table. You can see it's opening up another interface. And this interface is what we call the Power Query Editor. This is what we call what? The Power Query Editor. So here you can do a lot of transformation to your data. You can do so many transformations to your data. Here I can change this one to a text. So I can change that one to text. So you can do a lot of all this transformation to the data set. So that's one. Then another thing you can do, now that you have added this, you can also get another data. So let me call it. I say close and load. So immediately I say close and load, it's going to load this into the data model. Oh, it loaded it into the tables, but this is not what
Can I ask a question? I know we're going to round off in less than 1 minute. So I
okay.
wanted to say that, are we going to run through this Power Query again the next class? Or you just want to quickly run through it now? You know,
We
the
are
reason why
even
I'm
done.
asking is to be sure that we've really grabbed this Power Query.
Everything
Yeah.
we are doing now, there will be a recording. So whatever you do, please always go back to the recording to master what has been done today. You understand? That's the essence of the recording I sent. So anything we do today, the recording will be available. And you have days in between. You at least you have tomorrow in to go through the recording to at least practice whatever we have done today. Because I've not even done anything on the Power Query. I've not really explained anything. So we are still, when we are starting to, on Saturday, it's going to be like still the elementary. But of course, the videos, I also want you to at least practice. When you practice on your own, and it's not, okay, he did this in class. Okay, let me just quickly scroll to where he did it in video and look at the videos and use that to get it properly. So let me just repeat what I did initially. What I did was to come to data, come to get data from here. And of course, it's going to load up the data. So now that it has loaded the data, I need to close and apply, or close and load. I can say close and load. If I say close and load, to give me option of where to load it to. But now I want to load it to, I can create a connection only. I can also add it to data model. But I want to only create a connection. I don't want to create another table. So I click on OK. So immediately I click on OK, you see that it has been loaded. That data set has been loaded. So if I come to data model, you'll see that data set in the data model. So sorry, we've outshoot our time. So this is the data. This is the transaction. Can you see transaction? So I have sales here, which I can delete because, okay. So if you look at the diagram view, this is how it looks. So this is how it looks. This is transaction table, all the columns. So you're also going to import other kind of tables. So when you import other kind of table, you are now going to delete. So then you are now going to create a relationship between them. You can see here, where is it? Okay. Under design, you can see relationship. So you can now manage relationship. So we'll continue from here in our next class. So when you bring in another table, okay. So when you bring in another table, you can then create relationship between this table and the other table that you will bring in. If you bring in another table, you create a relationship. You understand? So we're just going to end here. Please just practice what we have done today. Just for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because that will go a long way. So that will cover a long way. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Take care
Enjoy
now.
your night.